Hi, everybody. Ooh,
Hello.
it's Cricket and Missy,
Mm-hmm.
two gorgeous gals. We're thinking about changing our name. But tonight we are going to talk about healing through and dealing with childhood wounds.
Yeah.
And kind of troublesome parents, guardians, caretakers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
How they've impacted our lives, how we worked through it or didn't work through it, looking at it from a different perspective as an adult now with each childhood trauma that comes through. And I'm telling you, this is like surface stuff today. We've been working at it. We should have started recording when I got here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
like, I would love to give credit where credit is due. Because there's this kid, I say kid, he's probably 30, on TikTok that does he had narcissistic parents, a lot of abuse. I can't think of his name. It makes me sad, but he's awesome. And that's where I got these from.
the ideas and
Yeah, and so we can expand on them.
yeah,
Because we have 20 plus years of experience on him. So we
Right.
can take his knowledge and wisdom and expand on it.
Yep.
Not try to take it or
oh,
anything.
of course not. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like every little bit helps. We've talked about how it can be dangerous to watch and listen to everybody, but there are people out there that, and as all readers say, take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate with you, then move on.
Right.
So, I mean, but there is some good information out there, and that helps us with our journey as well.
Most definitely.
So,
You want to start or you want me to start?
let's see what our first
It's cursive. You're old enough. You can read it.
Yeah, I know, I can read cursive. So, why do I keep a parent in my life after 30 plus years of emotional narcissistic abuse? And kind of what we came up with is you're holding on to the idea of a parent, not necessarily them as a person, but you're thinking they have the same heart as you, and one day they will change, take accountability, or be the parent you always needed. But in my experience, and not having a parent for my entire life, and then trying to be a parent without that experience, it comes down to you're doing the best you can with what you have.
Right.
But as a child, you don't understand that. Like, why is my mom or dad doing this? Or why can't I be enough? Or so many questions that...
Just tell me you're proud of me. I'm doing everything to make you proud, and you never say you're proud.
Yeah, but, one of the other things we talked about too, they're looking at it from a different lens, through a different lens. And what was it? There was something I saw in here that was talking about and you probably know more than I do. The validation? No, it was looking at when you have something and your triggers.
Well, but we're going to get to that part.
Okay, yeah, so let's not skip ahead, sorry.
Okay. But I do have an absent parent and a narcissistic parent. And I was raised, obviously, by the narcissist one, not the absent one. And what helped me was a lady that had she had an alcoholic mother, and she said that the moment she saw her mom as a woman and not just mom, and a broken woman at that, that her mother loved her the only way her mother knew how to love her. And when I stopped and talk about resonate, like, that really resonated with me. And I was able to see things as much from her perspective as I can, not being the same as her. It really helped a lot. towards not searching for something that I knew she was incapable of.
Right. But because that's another, even in any kind of a relationship, how do you do that? I mean, it's a matter.
In my experience, I am one of the lucky ones because, I do have a lot of really horrible experiences. But I've also got one of those crazy ass mamas that nobody could get me in trouble with her in front of them. She would defend me to the death in front of people. But she's also down when we went to do the stuff for my car. Mama come in here and act really sickly. Like, y'all see those videos where it's like they call their partner or somebody and they're like, fall in front of the camera so I can get out of work? Mama would be like, get me on there, I'll fall. And she will be as dramatic as she can about it. She's having fun. She's supporting me. And that's her way of showing me that she loves me and she's down for me and she's got my back.
Yeah.
Is it silly? Yeah. Am I ever going to get the words, I love you, I'm proud of you? Sober? No. So I take what I can get and recognize it for what it is. That's what she can do for me. So that's what she does.
But that doesn't make or break you.
Not
to
anymore.
The person you are now in the healed version of it, you understand. You have that better understanding of how, just like with me and not having parents and realizing that I probably avoided a lot of damage.
No, but
then I didn't have.
You didn't get the validation, and that's why you seek the validation now.
You
didn't get that
sense.
parental.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, and
yeah. So, and
interesting. Yeah.
our parental guardian relationships, however those went, all of those issues reemerge with our romantic relationships.
Oh God.
Which I think is just mean.
Yeah.
But they do, because those are our closest relationships. So maybe if we're with a partner and we feel unloved, unseen, whatever, unless they're just abusive assholes, try to see them as a person instead of a partner.
Yeah.
Are they showing me they love me, they're proud of me in their way?
In their way. Not
Right.
the way I think they should have, because.
Right? And you got to communicate love languages, and he's buying me all kind of stuff. I don't like that. Well, then I don't feel loved when he does that, but he's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it's just lost in translation.
Yeah.
So we have to really try to see the other person for what they're capable of.
And yeah. And I mean, looking back now, but why is it that people have a tendency to be drawn to the opposite of what they're looking for? People who are emotionally unavailable.
Because if you grow up with emotionally unavailable caretakers,
Or absent.
right, well, you can't get more emotionally unavailable than that.
Yeah.
That's what you recognize as love, because whoever's taking care of you, you just assume they love you, because that's kids. Mama loves me.
Right.
So we are conditioned, dare I say groomed, to recognize that as love. So when we see that in a potential partner, we recognize that as love.
Yeah.
It's that familiarity. That's what we were trained to recognize as love.
Yeah.
And until we heal that bit and understand that bit, we're not going to be able to recognize actual love
Yeah.
and availability.
Man, 'cause I don't know that I know what that looks like.
You may not. So I'm telling you what, this last guy I talked to, you always say, I want to be treated with respect and, you know, them to be courteous and thoughtful and compassionate and funny. It's one thing to want those things in the abstract because I had not experienced those things before. But with him, I got those things. So now when I manifest or think about it or whatever you do, now I actually can put a feeling to it because they'll say, feel what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I think it feels like this. But now, sort of recently, just a few years ago, now I actually know what that feels like. So, in the absence of that, I took it where I could get it. My kids, my grandkids, they give me that unconditional love and, well, the kids not so much the respect, but you get what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and so it does, you don't have to draw it from your parent or your partner. Have you ever been respected as a boss or a coworker? Or your talents or anything? Take those bits of what you got from that you wanted.
Oh.
And draw from that rather than the parental or the previous romantic relationship.
Yeah. I just realized one of the steps that I kind of like missed out on in talking about that. When you mentioned coworkers and people like that, I always had people tell me, you know, I've been in management, you're a really great manager and you do great things, but then not that I didn't believe them because I felt it myself, I was doing my best, so I figured I, you know, was doing well, but then you have those people that are just brown nosers, like brown nosers, so you have to second guess everything that somebody's saying to you. Now there were a few that were like, I knew, you know, die hard that it wasn't, they weren't brown nosing, they were genuine.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have those other people and then you're like, well, do I believe them?
Well, that's when you learn the difference between compliments and flattery, because the brown nosers flatter. And you have to pay attention to patterns and actions rather than the words.
Yeah. But that keeps your mind awfully busy to not work on other stuff.
It
That
does.
needs to
But,
get filtered.
but once you get it, and you don't have to keep relearning it.
Yeah. I seem to have kept having to keep relearning a lot of things, and I don't know why.
It'll stick.
It's gonna. Well, some of it has though, because like I already said, like last week with that one incident, it wasn't an incident, the one situation, and I could have overthought it like 1,000 times, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. It is what it is, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'm good too. Like, I don't have to have this. Spam.
Right.
Good time for spam. But yeah, I don't have to have this to know who I am or what I want. So that was a good thing. So yeah, you're right. It does stick eventually.
Yeah.
So there's hope.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else do we got here?
We've got, why do I seek external validation?
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you are yet. So you look outside of yourself.
Yeah. And clearly it doesn't matter your age. It's
No.
not just because I struggle with that still. I've struggled with that my whole life about being validated. But part of it, like you said earlier, if you don't get that from parents, and not just because mine weren't there, or but even parents who try to validate you and do it poorly,
or just not in a way that you receive it.
right? Because they could do it not poorly. Like, I don't know how many times how many times I've tried to explain something to someone a certain way with 100% genuinity and love and respect, and it just didn't come out right, or they just weren't clicking with it.
Right. Or let's say your parents take you out to dinner every time you get all A's on the report card, and they're thinking they're doing a fantastic job, and you grow up and it's like, dude, you gave me food. I just wanted you to say you were proud of me.
Yeah.
So even when everyone's trying their best, it can still get lost in translation.
Well, and two, you may, the expectations of, if I do good, I'm going to get a big prize at the end of it.
Yeah, no, we're the wrong generation for that.
Yeah, when you're in your adult life, nobody's giving you a prize.
Yeah.
You know what? I paid you for the work that you did, so keep going and, step it up a pace,
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't get that validation as an adult.
No, it's rare.
But you do seek it, though, when you're unhealed.
Right.
So we got to get through that healing phase so that we don't need that external validation.
And to just know who we are. There's this guy, again, I don't know his name. I want to tell him to brush his hair, but I know that's part of his point. And he had some girls on the stage. If I were to say, I hate your blue hair. That is ugly. I can't stand it. Your blue hair is disgusting. And the girl's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then why weren't you upset? Why didn't you get offended? I don't have blue hair.
Oh, yeah.
So why am I going to get upset about something that I know is not true of me? So when we learn who we truly are, we don't need validation, and ridicule or whatever doesn't bother us. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But even if she did have blue hair, and he ridiculed her for it, if she's comfortable with her blue hair and why she has it, then she can say, you know what?
Okay.
Suck a butt. I don't care. You do you and I'll do me, and so, yeah.
Or just keep walking and give him no energy.
Yeah. Options.
Knowing yourself, learning yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard. After all the time and energy you think that you're putting into something, only to find out 40 years later that
I did every bit of that to make everyone else happy, and I have no clue who I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And or nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Because I gave it all away.
Well, you have experiences.
Well, yeah, I have experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it's like, I don't know, you trying to pick up glass off the floor with your hands, and somebody brings you a broom and dustpan, and I would say, well, not necessarily, but just as a metaphor, I could probably get all the glass up if I just use my hands, instead of making it easier and sweeping it up and forgetting if there's little, pieces that nobody's gonna hurt. Yeah, maybe that's
because I'm hearing from your analogy.
Yeah.
I would rather hurt myself than accept help from someone else.
Oh. Yeah.
Maybe we should look into that one.
Yeah, I think so, because I think that's why my hands are so.
You got some scars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was a good one. I should write that down. Remind me when we're done.
I will try. Okay, you wanna?
Yeah, let's see what's the next one here. Why do I push everyone away when I'm emotionally struggling? Ugh. You don't feel like you deserve the help, love, support because it's the opposite of what you had as a child.
Sounds like your little broom analogy.
I know. And I do that. Like,
I have seen you.
yeah. Like, nope, I don't need help. I'll be fine. Ugh.
And see, I was brought up, if
Struggle.
you can't do it yourself, you don't deserve it.
So, yeah.
If you need help, you don't need whatever it is.
And I would get like, hey, can I get some help with this? Yeah,
sigh.
hold on a
The
second.
sigh, the
let me
dreaded
put all my
sigh.
shit down and get up off this couch and yeah. Never mind. I'll be all right.
But see, you're doing to them what you're making them feel like a burden for asking for help. Because you feel like a burden if you ask for help. Otherwise, why would you be so dramatic about it?
Well, no,
I'm
I
gonna
was
let
talking
them
about
know.
me asking and that other
Oh.
person being like,
Oh, gotcha.
seriously? Again? Or, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
the eye rolling and the,
That sigh. That I'm
the
still
walking
working on my
heavy,
side trigger. Yeah.
Walking heavy. That kills me.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get your help here?
What?
Nothing?
Never
But I
mind.
asked.
I got it.
Yeah. But see, like, what you said earlier, though, like, why don't I lash back, or why don't I be like, you know, I'm only asking for help. Like, why don't I defend myself in that aspect? You know, like,
Because if I stand up for myself, they won't love me.
yeah.
Because let me ask you, if you honestly, truly thought about it, all of the people that you got stuck in your people pleasing with, how many of them were pleased?
None. Because it was like, well, yeah, I appreciate that, but you could have done this.
Right.
I appreciate that, but I could have done it myself. Like, those are answers that I've gotten to, you know, like, hey, I did this for you. You didn't have to. Okay. I'm sorry you don't appreciate what I do for you.
Right.
I'm
So
sorry that you don't, yeah.
not only am I not going to help you, what you do is not good enough.
Yeah. And that, after hearing that or experiencing that for a time or two, you start believing it. That's what they talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How long am I gonna believe it now?
Right.
Now that I'm not in that position anymore.
But that's where that trauma responsive hyper independence comes from. I've got it. I'll do it on my own. I don't need help.
Yeah, and that I'm going through that right now even.
It's okay to ask for help. It's awkward and it's hard, but it does get easier.
Well, you know, they were talking about it a few weeks ago at work. I had one of the coworkers say, hey, can you come over and help me do this? Because this thing is really heavy. And I'm like, yeah. And then I felt comfortable with, hey, can I have somebody come and help me do this because it's too much?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And so it worked out nicely. But then I had one of those other times where I'm like, hey, I need some help with this. And I got that. Not quite as dramatic, but, you know, you can't do that by yourself? Yep, I will. Thanks for, you know, like.
Yeah,
So,
one hernia later.
Yeah, instead of being like, no, I really don't, I can't do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. And that's my thing, though. Like, if people know me, they know how hard it is for me to ask for help. And then you're going to give me shit about it?
Mm-hmm.
When you know how hard it was for me to ask that?
And I asked as an absolute last resort. So when I need it, when I'm asking, I needed it yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I need $20 from you, don't sit there and be like, well, what did you do with all your money? if I didn't need it, I certainly would not be asking.
Right.
By any means. So that's the other thing that gets me. So like it's more of a pain in the ass to ask than it is just to just deal with it.
Yeah, but you did say something earlier that was a little secretly powerful. Do you think it's because we have a hard time letting people know we can't or we're not capable of doing something?
Mm-hmm. Oh, big time. Like I can't show weakness.
That's failure.
Yeah, weakness is failure. And if you can't do it, you know, like right now I'm upset because I don't have the strength to wrench on the car.
Yeah.
I have to, and that's part of that's the other thing that I've been more accepting to, because I had to admit yesterday, I can't do this by myself. I'm not capable of doing it anymore. And until I became physically incapable of doing something, I would never. So your body has a way of saying, let's do this a little differently, and
Yeah. I try. I put on a good show. Okay.
We're awesome.
Our
Where are
time.
we at?
Well, we're at 26, so we're gonna go ahead and call it.
Yep.
Because we're trying to stay
Wrap
under
it up.
30, and
Yep.
we can talk.
Wrap it up, and we got more topics to cover next week. If you guys are, make sure you're tuning in, and we're on YouTube now, so give us some followers. We can go live at 50, right?
Yes.
And then yeah, ooh, that's gonna be
Yeah, I
that's
think we
gonna
have
be fun.
4 followers.
Oh,
or
well, that's good.
subscribers.
Nice. Okay, well, come on. That's 4 more on
What they say, like, share, subscribe.
Yeah. Follow, and feedback. We like to hear your comments and
Please.
concerns, or, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Speaking of validation, let us know we're doing okay, or
Yeah, validate us.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.